Good morning, and thank you for joining us for another Wednesday press conference. I'm Steve Fishback with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department Public Information Office. And this morning, we're going to be discussing two unrelated topics. We're going to start with Captain Brad Koch, who's going to discuss what the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department is doing in response to the gas shortage in our area. Captain?
Thank you, Lieutenant Fishback. As he mentioned, my name is Captain Brad Koch, K-O-C-H, currently the commander over the Central Division. And as you all know, last week we had a cyber attack our country did on the Colonial Pipeline, which provides a majority of the fuel to the city of Charlotte. And frankly, wanted to discuss how that affects two pieces. One, how it affects our operations, and two, how we as a community can come together during this unique time. Right now, frankly, it is not going to affect our operations. CMPD officers continue to respond to all 911 calls for service. We would ask you, though, if it is a non-emergency and you do have the opportunity to take a report or file a report online, that you do utilize that avenue, either by filing it online or calling 311, where you have a multitude of different types of reports that can be taken over the phone. However, if you do need police to respond, please call 911 and we will respond. We have utilized our retail partners and that our community members utilize to get their fuel. However, we do have, in extreme circumstances, if needed, there is a public safety reserve, emergency reserve, that we can tap if necessary. So bottom line, this is not going to affect the operations of the police department at all. Now, the second piece I want to discuss is how we as a community can come together during this unique and challenging time. A lot of people are very frustrated. There's been a lot of hoarding going on, a lot of very long lines. Couple pieces of advice. One, limit non-essential travel. If you do not have to come out and go out, please do not. Number two, check on your neighbors, your elderly neighbors that might not be able to get out. Just see if they need something. See if, when you're going out to the store, if you can pick something up. Do not hoard fuel. We are going to get through this, similar to whenever we have a severe weather and we seem to lose a lot of bread and milk at the stores. Similarly to last year at the beginning of the pandemic, when all the stores were out of toilet paper and hand sanitizer. I'm confident people still have a lot of hand sanitizer that they will not ever use. So do not hoard fuel. Treat each other with grace and courtesy and compassion and understanding, and know that we as a community are going to get fuel through this fuel crisis. With that, I'll answer it up to, open it up to any sort of questions that you might have. Yes, ma'am.
How is CMPD protecting themselves from cyber attacks?
Well, that's not really my lane. I'm confident that our IT within the city of Charlotte, that similarly to other city governments that have experienced cyber attacks, I'm confident that we are fully ready for that.
What kinds of things should people call versus calling you guys for, file their own reports for?
There's a lot of nonviolent crimes can be reported online, and there's a whole host listing. If you go to cmpd.org, you can see the number of reports that can be taken online. Very similar to the start of the pandemic, when we encouraged people to utilize the online or the 311 system to avoid that face-to-face contact, as everybody was pretty hypersensitive to speaking with people in person. So a lot of our nonviolent property crimes can all be reported online. For example, like larceny from autos, which is a big proponent of our property crimes.
Are there any penalties for hoarding? That's one question. And then how much is in you all's reserve?
Well, in terms of the specifics, in terms of what we have available to us, I don't have that answer. I don't think that that's honestly necessary or relevant. I think the fact that the bigger piece is that it will not affect, that this gas crisis will not affect the operations of the police department at all. In terms of hoarding, it's not illegal to hoard. It is illegal to price gouge, as the governor mentioned yesterday. Please feel free to continue to report that if you see that. But I think just treating others with grace and courtesy and not taking advantage of situations, and if you have the opportunity here to do that.
But you all are utilizing the same gas station that us in this room are utilizing as well, right?
Yeah.
So right now, I believe it's like 71% of Charlotte is out of gas. So how will the department not be affected by that?
Well, because we're filling up our gas tanks. We're waiting in lines with people and, utilizing the same avenues that our citizens are utilizing, and which is why I encourage those to limit your non-essential travel, only go out if absolutely necessary, and know that there are people like your local law enforcement and fire department and medic, that it is vital that we have access to that those fuel reserves.
Captain, have we had any incidents of gas rage, fuel pump rage, anything going on?
Gas rage. That's I don't believe so, not yet. But I can certainly see as the community continues to be concerned about where we are with the current status of our fuel, that can certainly be the case, which is why we encourage people to be gracious to each other and be patient if you're in those lines, and know that simple things like not idling your car when you're sitting there, have the just be very thoughtful and cognizant of where you are with your own fuel.
Question, if someone runs out of gas in the middle of the night or wherever, whenever, do they call you guys? Do you guys come? How they maneuver that?
Listen, we always respond if you call 911. So regardless of what time it is, we are a 24-hour operation, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So you can always call 911 and we will respond and assist. It might be a little difficult for us to find fuel, but you can always call if you feel the need, and we'll respond.
I have a question that's actually a different topic. I apologize unless someone else has another question first.
I don't know. Is there any more fuel questions? No, I guess we're good. Go ahead. I'll try to answer it.
It's in particular to the Kentucky Avenue incident on Saturday morning. I spoke with a lot of the residents, and there are several questions. The community felt like they were sort of held over a barrel because while it was very understandable the necessity for CMP to be there, apparently the person they were seeking had left like within a short time frame of CMPD arriving, then all the SWAT, and the incident lasted well over 6 hours. So they really sort of felt they were being held under a barrel. And several things occurred, and I was curious who made the decision to keep the unit and all the SWAT out there for such a long period of time, because they said it got louder and louder. And you got Spanish people, you got just all different elderly, and this started at 2 a.m. in the morning and went well over 8 a.m. And I have 2 more questions after that. So.
Well, I'll answer it, and maybe it's best to take your questions offline. But I will respond that we did try. That did not happen in my area, but I do know that one of our priorities is to keep all of our citizens safe, and we are not going to ask people to remain in place any longer than necessary. But certainly, we did not realize that the individual we were looking for had left. And we had to take all due time and caution, because we want to be very thorough with our investigation and make sure that we are able to appropriately take the individuals in custody without any sort of injury or things like that. So I certainly apologize for the delay. It was overnight. Most people are not trying to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
So
it just kept them up all night because
I understand that.
Phone.
Listen, it's our job to keep people safe,
Right.
okay? And I certainly apologize for that,
But
but
we were just trying to figure out who made the decision to,
yeah, we can talk about that offline, so.
Folks, any other questions for the captain, specifically in reference to the gas shortage, before we move on to our next topic?
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. And now, shifting gears completely, we're going to turn to Major Jackie Briley of our training academy, and she's going to discuss some of our efforts towards recruiting and hiring. Major?
Thank you, LT. As stated, I'm Major Jackie Briley. I'm over recruitment and training for CMPD at our training academy. One of the things I want to really talk to you about is what we've been doing lately. We have an outstanding recruitment team that works diligently to bring new officers to CMPD. We also are working really hard to bring current officers from other agencies to join our team. Now, we are currently at 188 officer vacancies, but it is important to note that this includes 120 new vacancies that were approved back in 2017 and 2018. We've been working nonstop behind the scenes to bring some of the best and the brightest to CMPD. Now, the current economy has, and the job market has presented some challenges for us, as with any other agency, but has also presented some opportunities to bring those to our organization who may not have thought about doing police work previously. Some of the things that we do offer for pay incentive is we have officers with applicants with a 4-year degree will start off around $54,000. If you have an associate's degree, you start off around $47,000. And if you have a high school diploma or a GED, you will start off at $44,000. One of the important things we like to speak about is the fact that we do provide tuition reimbursement to those who want to continue their education. Over the career of an officer, you can earn up to $82,000 a year. CMPD prides ourselves on being one of the highest paid police organizations in our state. We have full medical, dental plans, as well as retirement. In addition to that, for current officers, we have a cash payout of $2,500 to officers through our residency incentive program, and that extends jurisdiction-wide. CMPD offers more than 45 specialized positions, in addition to a broad range of experience gained by policing in a large metropolitan city as ours. One of the efforts that we really want to highlight is an effort to draw more people with experience is our BLET intermediate program. This program provides a pathway of employment for those who already possess a North Carolina basic law enforcement certification. This will offer them an abbreviated 10-week academy as opposed to our traditional 22-week academy. One of the things we really want to stress is that law enforcement is not just a steady career, but is a selfless calling to serve something bigger than yourself. We encourage anyone that may be interested or thinking about police work to go to charlottepolicejobs.org, see what we have to offer, and possibly apply. One of the officers I really want to talk to you about is Officer Darren Eichelberger. He knows what it's like to serve. He was a veteran here at CMPD, and then he left briefly for the private sector. He then realized that he wanted to return to serving our community here in Charlotte, as well as he wanted to be part of the change that he wanted to see in law enforcement. Officer Eichelberger, you step up.
All right, good morning. Yes, so I've been here since 2011, and I left in 2019. I thought that I was done, wanted to venture off into other things. But what led me back was in 2020 during the George Floyd events. And I saw the climate shifting. And now with things the way they are, this is the perfect time to get into law enforcement. Most would say that this is the absolute worst time, but this is absolutely the best time, and that's why I came back, because I wanted to see change, and in order to have that change. You have to be a part of it, and you have to put yourself in that driver's seat. So that's what led me back, and realizing that the community needed officers, and we still need really good people to step up and to basically just maintain the integrity of this, profession. So if that's, what you want, and if that's in you, then let your heart be the thing that people see. And I always encourage my colleagues to be the person that the department hires, because that's what the people need to see out here. And that's what I wanted to see. So that's why I came back. And it's been really good since.
Any questions for Officer Eichelberg? Or for Major Briley?
Dick, we've spoken before, and not surprised to see you here, but as I spoke with you, it's a tough job. I mean, there's no sugarcoating, and particularly you are a person of color and male of color. Think a little bit about that. That's got to be hard to do.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but you just have to kind of take the color part out of it for a second and focus on being a human being, and letting that be the thing that speaks the most. Letting people see that, because let's just face it, we're talking about color now, but it's out of the ordinary to not talk about it and to kind of shift gears a little bit, because we all are human. And that's what I focus on, and that's what encourages me, pretty much motivates me and encourages me every day.
What would be 3 things that you would suggest someone do if they're looking towards to see if this possibly, whether a younger person or an older person, would like to do this for a career? What would be maybe the first 3 things you could suggest?
Well, like anything, is speak to an officer. Don't be afraid to come talk to us. We just don't respond to calls. We're out here. You can see us at the gas station, restaurant. Just feel free to come and talk to us. The second thing is also go on the website. There's plenty of resources, and I encourage a ride along. Right now with COVID going, we have some restrictions with that. But normally I would tell people to do a ride along, and that gives the person pretty much a first-hand view of what we deal with every day, because it's not just, like what TV says it is, balls to the wall, blue lights and sirens, guns out, and everything blazing. It's more of an interaction with people just on, it doesn't matter what the situation is, because no call for service is the same. You might deal with the same people sometimes, but it's never the same. So I just encourage people to do those things.
Major, if I could ask sort of a bigger picture question for a moment. We're 188 officers short. At what point does it become a crisis? When do we look and say, well, we don't have enough folks to cover what we need to cover?
I don't think we get to that point. This organization has always been good. I've been here 22 years, and we've always been good at doing more with less, and we evolve as we go. One of the things we do rely on is our training and our ability to evolve as the times go. So I don't consider that being something of becoming a crisis at any point.
We're still good. We can manage.
Absolutely. And I wanted to, additionally, if anybody might be interested, we have, once COVID restrictions are lifted, we have our Citizens Academy opening back up. We encourage everybody to apply for that. We have the space for it, and we're going to run multiple Citizens Academies as well as our transparency workshop. And that's where citizens can come, and they'll be part of what we do at the training academy, and they get to see the behind the scenes on how we train and how we recruit and how we educate our officers.
And what's the ages, how old or how young can you be to apply to be an officer?
21 is the minimum age, and we do not have a maximum age requirement.
Thank you.
All right. As we conclude this morning, to our media partners in the room and who are watching, Feel free to meet with us offline. I know there may be some other questions out there, and we'll see if we can point you in the right direction. Thank you.